Hey there, folks. How are you? This is Angel with Mastiff Home Buyers. Uh, Jumping on today to talk about how to maintain a vacant property. So, this is something that is uh, close to my heart, I guess. We have had a vacant property that we've owned, and sometimes it becomes a challenge maintaining properties that are vacant. Uh, and so we try very hard not to have vacant properties for very long. However, I know that there are a number of vacant properties out there throughout the Kansas City metro area. So if you own one of those properties, I'm going to share a little bit about some of the things that I think are important to do in order to maintain that property. So you want to ensure that it doesn't diminish too bad, so that you also prevent potential issues that can arise from neglecting the property. So, for example, if you have damage to the roof and you don't notice it, and you have then winter rain and ice and snow all over and it leaks, then you have more damage to deal with than you would have originally had you known that the roof was had been damaged. So it is really important that you regularly inspect the property. So if you are out of the area and can't get to inspect the property regularly, I uh, recommend that you reach out to a local real estate agent or someone who is local who can go out and inspect the property for you and make sure that everything is good. Uh, we can also do that for you if you do own a property in the Kansas City area and you live out of the area. We can certainly help you by going and inspecting those properties that are vacant, so that we can ensure that nothing is going on there. I would recommend that you install security cameras and alarms. We did have someone break into one of our vacant properties, and somehow they managed to start a fire in the property. And I know that that has happened to others as well. So we did not have security cameras installed at that time. And so we don't know who did it. And we had to deal with it, ourselves, because we didn't have any way to put that off on someone else. Ensure that your doors and windows are all locked, and have your deadbolts closed so that people can't, or it's harder for people to kick in the door. Uh, and maybe if you have good neighbors, if there's you're in a neighborhood where there are good neighbors, ask them to keep an eye out on the property, just in case, and give them your phone number. Make sure they have your contact information so they can reach out if they see anything strange going on. We did this with our mobile home park. We asked the neighbors, while we were rehabbing the properties, we didn't have anyone living there. We asked the neighbors that surrounded the park to keep an eye on it and let us know if they saw anything bad going on so that we could come out and deal with it. Uh, Thirdly, maintain the exterior. Keep the lawn mowed, trim the bushes, keep the debris away. Take the trash out, and check the roof, like I indicated earlier. You need to always check the roof, walk the perimeter of the house, and inspect it and make sure there's nothing out of the ordinary going on. But definitely make sure you keep it mowed. Don't leave that for the neighbors to do unless you have an agreement with them to take care of your lawn. I know neighbors get really kind of irked at property owners that just leave their property to be managed by the neighbors, and the neighbors really don't have any benefit to that other than they don't want tall grass next to where they live. So maintain the exterior of the property. Uh, Prevent pest infestations. Make sure there aren't any gaps or holes in the exterior of the house. Keep things clean. If there is trash maybe from the last tenants, make sure you clean that all out, so there's no reason for pests to get in there, and consider having some pest control treatments done while the property is vacant. You need to also ensure that your plumbing stays in good condition. Turn off the water supply to prevent leaks or pipe bursts, especially in the winter. Make sure that those pipes uh, are not going to freeze so that they can burst and destroy a lot of interior parts of your property. We've also experienced this a pipe burst and damaged some sheetrock, and that had to come out and be replaced, unfortunately, and that costs money. And you certainly don't want to be spending that money on a house that is not bringing you any income right now. So, uh, when you do your inspection of the house, run the water, flush the toilets, to prevent those seals from drying out. Just make sure everything is, still working. And if it's not, then maybe call a plumber in to help you, or a handyman to help you find the root cause of whatever's going on and get that fixed. So make sure you unplug your appliances if there are appliances in the house. Um, if you're in an area where there's a lot of theft, I wouldn't recommend leaving appliances in the house, as they may get stolen right out from under you. And consider turning off the electricity, but remember that you're going to need it maybe for some security uh, over time. If it's going to be vacant for a while, having that electricity on makes people believe that someone's been there, someone's in and out. That kind of helps deter folks from bothering the property. So climate control. If you have the electricity on, you can control the climate a bit, and ensure that your pipes aren't going to freeze, because if you keep it at least above freezing in the house, then you are going to be able to help keep those pipes from getting frozen. I typically, even in my own house, when it gets really, really cold, open up the cabinets that are under the sinks so that the warm gets in there, because sometimes it is still cold underneath the sinks where the pipes are. So will open those when the weather gets really, really cold, so that the warm heat from the house can get under there and warm it up a little bit. Mail and deliveries, make sure that you redirect your mail and packages so those aren't sitting out at the property, and make sure that you keep insurance on the property, and make sure that you check out what the right insurance is. And we may dive into that a little bit more at a later date, to talk about what's the appropriate insurance that you need to have on a vacant property, because it's not your standard homeowners or rental policy, and your agent can help you determine that. Make sure the neighbors know that the property is going to be vacant and how they can help keep an eye on it. Yeah, and consider hiring someone, especially if you're out of the area, to uh, inspect the property regularly and drive by and make sure everything is going well. So, um, if you are going to have it vacant for a long period of time, you may need to board up the windows and doors to prevent break-ins. Um, this is not recommended that you keep a property vacant for that long. However, sometimes it's necessary. And so you don't want people breaking through your windows and coming in that way. And sealing the property appropriately will help with preventing damage from the weather. So, uh, just like any property, you need to ensure that there is some regular maintenance on the property. You can't just leave it without, cleaning out the gutters, checking for roof damage, ensuring that, your foundation remains sound. That will all help that when you decide that you're going to turn it back into a property that is not vacant, or put tenants in it, or sell it, or whatever it is that you're going to do with it, that'll help you ensure that um, you don't have to spend as much money or time or effort to get it back to where it needs to be. So, these are just some tips, some minor tips for you on how to maintain a vacant property. And as always, if there is anything that we can do for you here at Mastiff Homebuyers, please reach out and let us know. We would be interested in taking a look at any properties that you have had vacant. If you decide that maybe you want to sell those properties, we definitely are interested in buying them from you. And you can give us a call. You'll talk to me, Angel, at 816-535-0076. Or you can check us out online at www.mastiffhomebuyers.net. And I hope that these tips have been helpful, and we'll dive into more details about each of these at a later date. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have and share more details about my experience about around maintaining a vacant property. See you later, folks.